Hi everyone, Nathan here from Mighty Lancer Games. Have you got a bit of a downer on Warhammer games? Are you fed up with 40k and all the hassle that's going on with the new Horus Heresy 3rd edition? Are you looking for a new game, something that you could get into for a relatively cheap entry point and have loads of fun for years to come? The answer, my friends, is Frostgrave. This fantastic tabletop skirmish game is now in its 10th year. It's about to celebrate its 10th anniversary. It's on its 2nd edition in that time, and the 2nd edition just cleaned up a few little rules. We're not expecting a new edition anytime soon of this fantastic game. It's written by the fabulous Joseph McCulloch. He is an excellent games developer, and this is a game where you take the role of a wizard and you go exploring in the ruins of a magical city.
How easy is Frostgrave to learn? Frostgrave
is incredibly easy to learn. So it's based around a single D20 dice roll, which is you're to hit and you're to wound rolls, so you don't need hundreds of dice, just single D20 will see you through. Doesn't have to be a special D20, it can just be a standard D20 like you would use for any role-playing game. And apart from that, and a couple of bits of paper to be able to track your hero's characteristics and wounds and what have you, that is pretty much all you need, apart from some minis and some terrain.
I'm really used to playing Warhammer and flicking through different books trying to find the rules, and I've spent years learning rules for my faction and stuff, but how long do games of Frostgrave take, and do I need lots of different books and lots of different rules to play?
So all you really need is the core rule book. All of the basic stuff that you need is contained within this. This is how to generate a warband, spells for your wizard, treasure, basic monsters to get you going, and a whole bunch of scenarios that will take you a while to play through. And you can replay those scenarios again and again and again and still have tons of fun. Now, because this game's been going for a little while, there are various supplements and expansions, and these are in the form of different softback books. Now, these have come along over the years, and these all add more scenarios, different characters, different monsters, different henchmen that you can add into your warband. But these are not essential to the game. There is no busted meta, because it's supposed to be. It's not all about killing your enemies. It's about getting the treasure and getting away without having all your guys getting killed. So you don't need to buy all of these books unless you want different scenarios. You want to go into the woods outside the city. You want to go for a bit more political intrigue, but all of these have different scenarios where you might need different terrain and what have you. So these are not essential to have fun.
Do I need miniatures to play though, and are they really fiddly to assemble? Is there like a hand on one screw and a finger on the other, and is it going to cost me loads of money to buy lots and lots of minis just to get started?
So, like many games, yes, you do need some minis. But one great thing about Frostgrave is it is miniatures agnostic, which means you can use whatever figures you like. So here are some official Frostgrave minis that are produced by North Star and Osprey Games, who published the game. And these sets here are plastic kits that are very, very easy to assemble. So torso and legs might come in a single piece with arms that you can put on. There'll be different heads, a couple of different weapon arms, for example. The sprues are packed with detail as well, but there is none of this like you get with GW kits these days, where you've got a separate cigar that might be on one sprue and a finger on the other and half a foot or whatever. They are very, very simple to put together, and they're great looking models, and they're not crazy prices. So this box of soldiers, so what most people would start with is a box of soldiers and a box of wizards. The box of wizards includes enough parts to make 8 wizards. You only need a wizard and apprentice in your warband, so you really only need 2. But this box, I believe now, is somewhere between £15 and £18 RRP. and the soldiers would be somewhere between £20 and £25 RRP, and that makes enough to make 20 figures. So you need 8 to 12 minis in your warband. So a wizard and his apprentice, and then maybe 10 soldiers at the most. Now there are other minis that you can utilise from the official range, which are metal figures. So you won't be able to see these at this distance, but they generally come in a blister with 2 figures. This one is a trap expert and a tunnel fighter. So these are more specialised henchmen, but there's no reason why you can't make your own version of those out of one of these plastic box sets. And all the parts between the different kits, the plastic kits, are interchangeable. And many of these parts are interchangeable with other North Star plastics, like the Oathmark plastics, and even the same arm parts for some of the older GW kits. So the conversion possibilities with these are endless, absolutely fantastic. But you don't need to use the official minis. As you know at Mighty Lancer Games, or you may know at Mighty Lancer Games, we stock a massive range of other companies' minis. Bad Squiddo, Reaper Miniatures, Crooked Dice. All of these ranges have amazing wizard characters and soldiers, mercenaries, different kinds of rogues and what have you. All of these would be perfect for putting together a warband for Frostgrave. My warband that I use is actually made up of cobblestone castings halflings with a couple of Reaper figures that I use as my wizard and her apprentice, and then I have a whole load of halflings that I've painted up as my henchmen, if you like, my warband. So we'll put a picture of those up, and you can see what I use in the game. But you really don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get one box set and use anything out of there. A couple of Reaper wizards, £3 or £4 a piece. No reason that this has to be an expensive game to get into.
Do I need terrain to play, and is that terrain going to be very expensive?
You do need terrain to play Frostgrave. However, it's as much as you want to put into it, really, with Frostgrave. So the idea is that you would have as much terrain on the board as possible, so you can't get a line of sight from one side of the table to the other. So I've set this up on this map here, where there are clear roadways and what have you, but ideally you would have as much blocking terrain as possible. You don't want to have a guy with a bow or a crossbow, or one of your wizards with a ranged spell be able to shoot from one end of the table to the other. So as much table as you can, as much terrain as you can fit on a table. Now, that terrain might be, like some of the stuff that you see here, very simple MDF terrain that, although this might look a bit more in depth, it is just TT combat, MDF terrain. This is ruined convent stuff that's designed for 40k, but it's been textured up and painted very simply, but it is just a very cheap MDF kit. These pieces are made out of foam, so again, very cheaply made and easily painted, and then a couple more bits of MDF terrain on the table here that can look very effective with a little bit of work. It doesn't have to be super expensive. The TT combat stuff is absolute fantastic value. The main time-consuming part of the task is putting it together and painting it, and the kits themselves are very affordable. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can just use stacks of books if you want to. There's nothing stopping you going back to classic piles of books to represent buildings, or you could use whatever you like. There is no hard and fast rule or tournament scene that says you have to have line of sight blocking buildings that have windows at the first floor and all these kind of things. Some of the scenarios do require specific stuff, but there's nothing stopping you from mocking those up with a cardboard box or whatever. There's one mission where you need a tomb that's got some doors, but if you had a little square cardboard box that you could mark some doorways on the outside of, that would be absolutely fine to get you going without having to spend £50-60 on bespoke buildings.
But I've got a cupboard full of Warhammer terrain that I spent time and energy assembling and building and painting. Is it all wasted now, or could I use that for Frostgrave?
Absolutely, you can use whatever you've got to hand. So 40k ruined buildings can be utilised. Age of Sigmar buildings like the can't remember what they're called, the ruins, the Azerite ruins, and the Balefire portals make great. It's a magical city, so there is, and it's been cut off by a magical vortex storm for hundreds of years. There are all sorts of technological wonders being uncovered in the city of Felstadt. So there is all sorts of stuff. No reason you can't reuse any of your existing terrain with a little bit of imagination and thought of placement and what have you. We quite often use some of the Age of Sigmar portals and different ruins on the table to represent different things happening in the game.
This all sounds really cool, but what do I actually need? The first thing I need to buy to get started with Frostgrave.
So the absolute first thing that I would recommend that you purchase is the rulebook. Have a look through there, decide what you want, and then pick yourself some models. So rulebook, a D20, get some minis, get your friends together, even if you just use some books and boxes to make your table full of terrain. That's all you need to get going. The book is around 25 English pounds. A dice is like £1, and some minis is as much as you want to spend. But it can be, a full warband can be had for about £25. So £50 will get you started in this absolutely awesome game.
And where is the best place to buy all this for Frostgrave?
Mighty Lancer Games! Thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully this has been useful to you, and you might consider giving us a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you all soon.